This is Voices of Luxury with JQ. I'm JQ Louise. I'm a travel writer, influencer, and content creator based in Boston, but I've traveled all around the world. And on my podcast, I'm interviewing lots of interesting guests from the world of luxury, yachting, and travel. And I'm so excited to have you here with me. So let's get started. So today I'm here with Captain Eddie Lucas. Most of us know him from Below Deck, but he's doing a ton of cool things. He's a tugboat captain. He's doing a really cool sailing trip around the world to lots of different locations. So thanks for chatting with us, Eddie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So maybe to kick things off, let's learn a little bit more about your background. Like I know, like I first saw you on Below Deck, but I'd love to hear about how, you got into tugboating and just kind of how you grew up around boats and sailing and all of that.
Yeah, so I started off very young. My family had a sailboat, beautiful wooden sailboat called Seahorse, and that's where I cut my teeth on sailing up in Massachusetts around the Elizabethan Islands and Cuttyhunk and Martha's Vineyard. And that's really kind of where I fell in love with being on the water and being on boats. And then at college, I started working at a summer camp. I was a camp counselor, and that's where I got my first OUPV captain's license. I was teaching water skiing and sailing. I was out on the water every day on the Chesapeake Bay, having a blast, loving it. And that's really where it kind of started the professional boating career that I had. After college, obviously, you know about Below Deck, got into that and I loved it, and I loved yachting. It was a lot of fun, but also dealing with really demanding guests takes a toll.
Mhm.
And I also wanted to have kind of a more settled life, and I liked the idea of being able to kind of have a house and have a solid relationship and all that. So yachting, it makes that very difficult because you're always
Mhm.
away. So I started looking around the area where my dad lives in Baltimore here, and found tugboating. And so for about 12 years now, I've been working on tugboating, and I'm a captain now. But that's that's pretty much the in a nutshell. My life is on the water. Very small nutshell.
So do you think you want to be a tugboat captain? Like that's your for the foreseeable future? Like what's
Um, no, I'm actually kind of trying to transition out of tugboats, and trying to get into something that's has a little bit more growth involved into it, and maybe has a little bit more kind of even more of a normal schedule. You know, the 2 week on, 2 week off that I work. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh my God, you get 2 weeks off at a time. That's amazing." And yeah, it is amazing. It allows me to travel and have a lot of fun. But still, it's those 2 weeks that I'm working. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of time away, and
Mhm.
for my relationships and for my dog Bert, it's not ideal. So I'm trying to transition to something maybe a little bit different. I've got a couple other irons in the fire. I've started working with a really great company called Splash City Golf that's making biodegradable golf balls here in the
Ah,
U.S. And yachts. Anybody who works in yachts know we have
yeah.
biodegradable golf balls on them. So I'm starting to kind of do some work with them, which has been really great and a lot of fun. But also, I'm still doing kind of captaining on the side, but smaller captaining. I'm running as a captain for a company called Rhythm and Sails, where we go out into the Caribbean with a flotilla of multiple catamarans around 50 foot in length. And we put on concerts on a few different islands.
Cool.
Really amazing artists. And it's hard to explain how much fun this trip is. It's a different experience. It's life changing, and it's so much fun. I love doing it. And so I'm trying to do a little bit more of that also. And just doing more bareboat charters on the side with my company and with
Mhm.
Rhythm and Sales. It's been great. So yeah, I mean, I'm still want to be on the water and still captaining, but maybe just looking for something that's a little bit more
Just
uh,
a better schedule, just a
a better
better
schedule.
schedule.
Yeah, better schedule is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So where have you done these trips in the Caribbean? Like what islands or, what are the routes or the
Um,
spots?
Mostly where we do rhythm and sails is we leave from St. Vincent and we go south to Beckway, and then from Beckway we go down to Maru, and then Maru we go to Mystique, which is a really cool little
Mm.
private island, very neat. And then Mystique back to St. Vincent, and then I'll take the boat up to St. Lucia and drop it off in St. Lucia. But it's that's what I do with rhythm and sails. I also have been doing some sailing trips personally in the Exumas, which have been fantastic, Harbor Island,
Hmm.
Wells, uh, even to Bimini, to Fort Lauderdale. It's been a lot of fun just having those kind of personal explorations on
So
those
what kind of
places.
boat are you on, like when you're doing those personal trips?
I'm on a 56-foot Hylas, which is a monohull. Really sweet, sweet boat, and I'm lucky enough to have a friend that owns it, so we're able to go out and have some
Great.
time together. It's a great time.
Cool. So what's been your favorite like new island that you've been to lately? Like what's your favorite right now out of all these places?
I mean, Harbor Island is an amazing island. I absolutely love Harbor Island. It's got everything that you could want, and it's small and not too developed.
Hmm.
But then going from Harbor Island around to some of the very undeveloped islands like Wardrick Wells is just absolutely incredible. I
Hmm.
love going to islands that don't have a huge Western presence, let's say.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of the Caribbean culture is really important to me, and it actually feels like I'm traveling.
Yeah.
And because I love being able to go to an island and get, some of the local fare, some of the
Yeah.
Caribbean food is my favorite. It kind of rubs me the wrong way when I go to a place and you try to go eat food and it's all like Italian and Japanese and
Yeah.
American, and you're like, wait a second, like
Yeah.
where's my oxtail stew? Like I want to go get some of
Exactly.
the goat curry. It's I like when I travel, I like to be in the culture and not
Yeah.
just feeling like I'm
No,
in another part of America.
I know, me too. I mean, it's so funny now. It's like it's such a challenge to actually travel somewhere and feel like you're somewhere different because
It's,
all these international brands are everywhere. And,
yes,
it makes sense because that's where people are going and they want familiar things. But I don't know if you've traveled, like, if you travel all the time, the whole point is to actually see something new or see
it's so
something
true.
different than what you're used to. So I don't
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
I know. And especially in the Caribbean, because so many Americans go to these places, I feel like a lot of the islands are either islands full of Americans or islands full of British or,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's you don't feel like you're actually in another country.
yeah.
You're in another part of America. And I mean, hey, I love America. I mean, some of the most beautiful places in the world are here in America, but
Hmm.
it's that's not where I go to another country.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So maybe let's talk a little bit about below deck. 'Cause
Okay.
I know everybody loves to hear about that.
Oh yeah,
So which seasons were you on? You were on a bunch.
I was on a few. Yeah, I was on seasons 1, 2, and 3, and
Hmm.
then 8 and 9.
Okay, cool. And I think you and we actually did a podcast episode. I think probably in between those last two. Because
I
I
think you're
I
right. Yeah,
I double checked. I was like, okay, we did a podcast episode. It was like during COVID. Um, and I think it was like right before the St. Kitts. What season was the St. Kitts and Nevis? Was that
Saint
season?
Kitts and Nevis. I think I'm trying.
Maybe it was season 8.
I think that might have been season 8.
Hmm.
From season 9. Where was that? That was. Gosh, it feels like it was so long ago now. It's hard to remember, and it all kind of blends into
Yeah,
one. Because when you're filming, you talk about not being able to go and experience a
yeah.
country or culture. That's definitely part of it. I mean, my gosh, it's hard to experience anything when you got 3 cameras in your face. Um, but yeah, I think that was St. Kitts and Nevis, so it might have been season 8.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that was season 9, St. Kitts and Nevis, and then I don't know, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Anyway,
Who knows? Yeah.
well, it was funny because I remember because when I looked up, I was like, okay, when did I interview him? And I remember I listened to a little bit of the episode and we talked about St. Kitts and Nevis. And it was funny because I actually went to St. Kitts and Nevis twice, like like 2 months later after that. And I stayed the first time on Nevis and the second time on St. Kitts. And it's funny,
Nice.
that's a great destination too. It's something a little bit different than what people are used to, when you're going down to the Caribbean, especially so I'm in Boston. So, everybody from Boston's going to Aruba, Puerto Rico,
Right.
BVI's.
Yep.
But yeah, St. Kitts and Nevis was cool. It really like, like Nevis is pretty untouched. Like honestly, parts of it reminded me of like Bali and stuff like that with, the rainforest and all the huge trees and the mountain and everything.
Yeah.
And then St. Kitts had a ton of culture, like tons of stuff going on.
Yeah. St. Kitts and Nevis are great islands. They're really, really beautiful, very untouched, still very strong in the Caribbean culture. I love those islands. Highly
Hmm.
recommend anybody who's going on vacation to go there, as I'm sure you would also.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, and I think like, I don't know, I think now that there are more flight options too for people are trying to
Mhm.
venture out a little bit more than just the JetBlue direct flights that they've been taking for the past 10 years.
Right?
So I don't know, that's been a good thing.
A
Because
really
there's,
good thing. I just found out that Baltimore, where I'm from here in Baltimore, BWI is now going to start direct flights to Aruba. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I know it's going to be awesome.
well, I mean, a lot of these places are so much fun. Like, and each destination definitely has a time and a place for the type of experience you're looking for. Like, Aruba is a ton of fun for any water sports. Like,
Right.
if you want to do any kind of water sports, it's so easy, so accessible. And the people are so nice, and just the weather is so consistent. That's the other thing. Like, in the Caribbean, you really have to look at what weather pattern does that island have because,
Yes,
that can make or break,
I
your
know.
trip for
It's
sure.
really true. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely look into the weather. Anytime you travel, you got to find out the best time to go. And also with the Caribbean, you really got to look at also hurricane season. I mean, I know that a few of those islands, especially down the same as the Grenadines, were absolutely ravaged in
Yep.
past year, a couple of years by hurricanes. But it's still, I mean, we were a little this past May, we were just down St. Vincent and the Grenadines sailing, and we were a little worried about the hurricane. What was that? Hurricane Helena, I think that would hit down there and
Mhm.
really ravaged it. We were a little worried about it, but man, those islands, they're able to bounce back so quickly, and they're still so beautiful and stunning. Yeah, but
Exactly.
weather is just incredible.
Yep, exactly. I know. I went to Canoan 2 years
Padawan,
ago. Yeah, Canoan.
Padawan.
And like it was like a year after they had a hurricane.
Yep.
But they bounce back and it's crazy because these islands are tiny and they get, things get wiped out, but the people are, so resilient and everything.
They just were filming Below Deck in Canawan.
Oh.
When I was down in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I actually ran across the
Oh.
yacht that they
Huh.
were filming on, and I was chatting with them over the radio. Yeah,
No way.
yeah, it was Captain Jason.
Yep.
And
Oh,
it
no
was down
way.
there. So
Cool.
yeah, ran into the yacht. It's a
Cool.
really ugly yacht, though. Really,
Hmm.
it was a smoke pot. Had a lot of smoke coming out of it. It was a lot of exhaust. It was not
Jeez.
a good boat.
Hmm. So okay, for below deck, so what's like tell us what is it actually like filming and doing your job on the boat the whole time?
Yeah, it's
Like how
exhausting.
how does that actually work?
It doesn't. It doesn't work. That's I think that's kind of the point of it. Is it's. I mean, a lot. I mean, obviously, it's a reality television show. It's going to be based on drama. But and the most common question that I ever get about it is is it scripted? Well, it's
Mhm.
not scripted, but it's facilitated, and part of the facilitation of the drama is making sure the crew members are absolutely exhausted and just wiped out, don't have, as a bosun, as like a manager, you don't have the right crew don't have good experience. So that's stress. You're not getting enough
Well, so
sleep.
here's my question. So when you're the bosun on a normal boat, not on a TV show, like is there that like what's the turnover like? Because, on below deck, people are getting fired all the time. Like that doesn't, like that can't be normal.
Honestly, that could be normal. It's up to the captain and up to the crew. I mean,
Hmm.
if they take a crew member on, obviously they're going to have a CV that
Yeah.
is, up to par to being
Hmm.
on a yacht that size. On below deck, I mean, we're hiring people who have never stepped foot on a boat over, 60 feet in length. And you're
Yeah.
like, and all of a sudden we're putting them on a 156, 160-foot yacht. You're like, that
Hmm.
doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
Uh, they've never tied a lot to a bollard. They've only ever,
Yeah.
tied cleats. They don't understand these things. It's a totally different animal when you're working on a yacht that size.
Hmm.
So that's not normal. But what is normal is that if you hire somebody and they don't vibe with the rest of the crew, they're going to get let go. I mean, there's so many people, especially since Below Deck that has come out, that want to get into this industry, that want a yacht. So there's a line of people out the door wanting to be a part of this industry that wants to get on boats. And
Hmm.
so it's easy, like, hey, if you're not vibing with us, if you're not going to work, if you're not going to be part of the crew, okay, see ya. And they're going to let them go pretty easily. Usually they give them the time. They're not firing people so willy nilly like they do on Below Deck. Um, but still, like if they do a charter and it doesn't work out, like see ya. They require such a high level of competency, of ability, and they have such high expectations of the product they're putting out. If you're not able to hash, kick it
Yeah.
off, you're gonna get replaced.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of that has to do with the crew you're with, the captain you're with. Some captains are willing to give you the time to train you to make sure that
Hmm.
help you be successful. But other charter yachts, they may have too much of a demanding season and they don't have time to be
Hmm.
training you. They need you to hit the ground running. If you can't do that, then yeah, they'll let you go.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I really wonder, and I've spoken to people about this that, since Below Deck has gotten so popular and there's so many, Below Deck Med, Below Deck Sailing Out, like all the, there's so many shows now, just the number of people, like, the number of 20-year-olds that want to become deckhands or stewardesses or whatever has like skyrocketed. And initially people were like, I wonder if more people are going to be chartering yachts or like more inquiries with charter brokers and things like that. But that's been stable because obviously it's a certain price point to, even charter a yacht or whatever. But the number of people who want to become crew has like skyrocketed over the past few years. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And I mean, I know that a lot of like the original yachties and especially people who are in the industry when Below Deck started, I mean,
Hmm.
really hated Below Deck for that. And I totally get that. I mean, Below Deck came out and we told a lot of secrets and we blew up this industry. And then all of a sudden, all these people wanted to come in who were incompetent or, don't have the experience
Hmm.
and, are kind of watering down the industry.
Yeah.
I get that. But yeah, obviously the being able to charter a yacht's a different animal.
Yeah.
I am surprised. I would have thought that maybe there was a little bit of an increase in it, but still, the price point is so ridiculous that there's only a certain percentage of people that can actually
Well,
charter it.
the increase that I've seen, and especially from the brokers that I've spoken to over the years, is that COVID was a big switch where more people were chartering because, at a certain price point, if you have a big family, you want to go on a nice trip, if you're going to a five-star hotel, honestly, at some point, the price becomes equivalent, to do a week on a yacht versus a week with multiple villas and multiple rooms, at these five-star hotels. So I've heard that, COVID with the need for privacy and just people want to be away from everybody and all the nonsense. Um, that was kind of a pivot point, but I think it's
Hmm.
kind of leveled out at this
Oh,
point.
yeah, yeah, it probably has leveled out
Yeah.
now that COVID is pretty
Yeah.
much over.
Yeah. No more regulations and all that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess what else about Below Deck? Like what surprised you the most, like year after year? Because you did multiple seasons. Like what what surprised you about the whole experience with the cameras and whatever? Like,
I mean, it all surprised me. It was a big surprising experience altogether. I mean, it was never my intention to be on a reality television show. Since I was on season one, like I never wanted to
well,
be on
so
television.
then how did you get on season one, I
They
guess?
found me.
Really?
Yeah, they found me. I was, I had my CV out with a crew finding agency, and I guess they had somebody lined up to be on season one, somebody else,
Mhm.
some Australian person. And I think it was like 2, 3 weeks before we started filming, they backed out.
Oh.
Uh, and so they, I guess, were kind of looking through CVs and found me. And one day, as I was working my retail job selling camping gear here in Baltimore, I got a call and they said, "Hey, you want to work on a yacht?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And they said, "Well, this yacht's a little different, and they pitched it as a reality documentary on a major broadcasting network." And I
Yeah.
and I was like, "Wow, I love documentaries."
Yeah.
Uh, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Cool.
Then after that, season one, I mean, season one was the Wild West. Nobody had any idea what was going
Hmm.
on. It was just absolutely crazy, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But then after that, it was they kind of started figuring it out. Season two was
Hmm.
a little more polished. Season three, things were getting crazy, and then I took some time off after season three,
Hmm.
obviously, and came back for season 8 and 9, and it's just a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Now you have below deck sailing, below deck med, and it
Hmm.
was a different animal, but it's still just such a crazy experience. Um, I mean, not just filming and having cameras in your face and having to kind of deal with this constant drama every day, but then even everything that came after it, and having people who are fans, and
Hmm.
people who thinking that you're a big deal, which I'm really not. I'm just
So how's that like? Because you have your quiet, tugboat life. You're just like behind the scenes. But how do you deal with like, are people still bothering you all the time? Like coming up to you when they recognize you and stuff, or like,
No, no, not
was
all the
that?
time. Not all the time. I mean, it does happen, and it always kind of surprises me. And it's like I mean, it's like I'm honored by it that you think that I'm important enough, or I'm like exciting enough to like yell at from across the street. Like I was just out and my friends give me shit about it. They really do. They laugh at me about it. But I was just out in Boulder, Colorado, going to some concerts, and one of my friends I was out there with was like, "You think anybody's going to recognize you out here?" I was like, "Nah." I'm like, "Come on, we're in Colorado. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen." We went out to lunch the first day I was there, and as I was leaving the restaurant, I heard someone behind me like scream out like, and I thought it was just my friend giving
Yeah.
me a hard time, like kind of
Yeah.
make me feel weird. But I turned around, it was just like some random fan that was just really excited, and I was happy to take pictures with him, and just it's funny, and it makes me giggle, and I think it's ridiculous also at the same time.
Hmm. That's funny. So now, what about the guests though? So I really wonder, how are the guests, like how do the guests behave like with the cameras and everything? Because obviously the guests who are going on the show, it's literally the opposite of like a normal guest, because if you're chartering a yacht, you want privacy, you want to just have fun, you want to do whatever you want. Like, do you think these people care, or they did it just to be on the show? Like, that's what I feel like a
I
lot of people wonder about.
I think the guests that are on the show are completely different than a real
Yeah.
charter.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is it just the whole experience, and what you're trying to achieve from chartering a yacht
Yeah.
is completely opposite.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, like a real charter guest wants privacy and quiet time and everything like that. Like,
Yeah.
and then below deck, it's they want attention, and they want craziness. They want to be on they want to be on the show. I mean,
Yeah.
but also, they're also getting a massive discount to
Hmm.
be on below deck. So they're not normal charter guests. Also, below deck is like 3, maybe 4 days,
Yeah,
uh,
that's the other, it's a really weird like time
really
frame
short
too.
amount of time.
Yeah.
And so every single day they want everything. It's crazy. Like there's never a time when they're actually sitting like up on the sun deck, lounging, reading a book,
Yeah.
which real charter guests do. Like they want to sleep in, they want to relax, they want to have a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm pretty sure that below deck guests, after they get off below deck, they're like, "Oh my God, like I'm exhausted. I need a
Yeah.
vacation from
Now they need a
that.
normal vacation
Yeah, I
after
need a
that.
normal vacation. Like I actually need to relax. That was insane."
Yeah.
Um, and I do know that production is like, we want you to speak out. We want you to, if something is wrong, we want you to,
Like
speak up on
make
it,
a big deal out of
make a
everything.
big deal about things, be demanding.
Yeah.
They want them to be that way.
Hmm.
And these guests, they're coming on below deck and they know they're on below deck and they know how it goes. They're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I want to be that guest. I want to be kind of out there. And there is a difference between some of the guests we've had. I mean, there are guests that are, they're still demanding and they're coming on below deck. They want the attention, but they're also like really cool and good
Yeah.
people and they're having fun and they want to have fun with the crew. And I mean, that's the guest that I liked having is, we're going to be boisterous and loud and fun,
Yeah.
but we're going to be fun. We're going to be, we want to have
Like
fun
be
with
like,
the crew.
being nice, like not
Yeah.
being
We're going to be nice about
rude
it.
to the crew and everything. Like,
Right. And then you have, like you said, the opposite of that of the ones that are really demanding and, just new money kind of people.
yeah.
You
Well, and
know,
they obviously just wanted to be on the show. Like that was their
right.
only
They just
reason
want to be
for,
on the show. They
yeah.
want the attention and they'll get that attention any way possible. And they think the best way to get that attention is to be demanding and rude. And, they think that acting that way is like, oh, this is how rich people act. But it's like,
Yeah.
not it. That's not
Yeah.
it. And I can't stand those guests. I can't stand them.
Yeah.
There, the 5 seasons I did, we've definitely had a mix of the two, but it was mostly this really demanding, annoying,
Yeah.
just kind of classless.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's why the audience, then the audience is on the cruise side, when they're being such, you know, like they're
Yeah, it's
behaving
true.
like that. It's like, okay, they're the villain of that episode, it's like,
Yeah, those guests do make us look better. I do say that. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, a
some of
lot
them.
of, yeah. Well, people can, because nobody wants to be treated like that no matter what situation it is. Because some of
No,
these people act insane. Like,
insane.
like nobody would act like that, you know,
No,
especially if
no.
you're on a nice vacation to literally to relax. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I can't imagine why anybody would ever act like that. And it's just I feel like when people actually do act like that on the show, it makes it really, really obvious that this is your first time.
yeah, exactly.
You've
Well,
never done it.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
whenever anybody acts like that in any kind of like high end, nice environment, it
yeah,
just is the total opposite because it's like if you're somewhere, where you're paying a lot of money to relax and to enjoy yourself, why do you have a bad attitude?
right. Why have bad attitude? And also just like act like you've been here before. It's so obvious and it's just ridiculous to be acting that way. So act like you've been here before.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and especially when all the crew is doing nothing but being nice and helpful and doing
Hmm.
whatever you demand, like, like I
Yeah,
think that's one thing on the show that shows, how hard yachties work is that, no one has ever like any of the episodes I've seen, none of the crew has ever like talked back to a guest or like, you know, fought back and forth with them or anything. Like, I think that really shows that okay, even on the show, you guys are all doing your best to help the guests and, all that.
I mean that's true. I mean I think the below deck it does show how hard yachties work and shows how much they sacrifice, how much they bite their tongue. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
don't get me
because we see the
wrong.
behind the scenes, once like if, somebody's like dealing with a guest and they're just being polite, and the guest is being so mean and so rude. And, the stewardess or whoever is like just saying, okay, yep, 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 yep. And then, when they turn around the corner and then they talk to the camera or talk to whatever, you can
Oh
see.
yeah, that's the greatest part. That's the big reason why I don't understand why people even pay money to be on below deck to be a
Yeah.
guest. We're gonna trash you, right? We're
Yeah.
gonna
Like
absolutely
two
destroy
two
you
seconds
up there.
later behind the
Yeah, a few
scenes.
seconds later, which is real. I mean, like what happens down in the crew quarters, stays in crew quarters on a real yacht, but below deck, like we're letting it all hang out. We're
Hmm.
gonna trash you right as soon as we get around that corner, but rightfully so. Right? If you're gonna be rude to us, we're gonna trash you.
Hmm. So, what's the most over the top thing any guest has asked for? Like real guest or on below deck? Like, what's the most over the top, like beach setup or excursion, like whatever?
I mean, it was all so over the top. I mean, but the big part of that was, like I said, is because it was so rushed. It was 3 4 days,
Hmm.
and in those 3 4 days, those guests want everything.
Hmm.
Uh, they want all the toys, they want the slide, they want beach excursions, they want everything. They want to go to a party on shore. They want to have a blast. They're just like they want it all immediately. And
Yeah.
it's just like, why are we doing? I mean, beach excursions blows my mind. Like, why would you ever want to go have a sandy like picnic when you have a 25, 30, 60, $100 million yacht where you can have right there and be on? And hey, go to the beach, have fun, go snorkeling. Like, I love going to the beach and feeling the sand in my toes, but I don't want to go and eat
Yeah.
eat lobster on the beach. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the worst day of yachting that I ever had wasn't because of a guest. It was because of Captain Lee. He beat me to death one day. And maybe I deserved it, because we had a day off. We were off the yacht. It was like during a dark day of filming. That's like when they sequester everybody and we're off the boat, because the camera operators in production, they have to have a day off because they're union. And so they sequester everyone. And we
Yeah.
were supposed to be hanging out, not doing anything, but instead a bunch of us snuck out of the hotel and went to a full moon party and partied all night long. Didn't get back to the didn't get back to the hotel till,
Like a Thailand party, like Thailand full moon.
like, yeah, it was like a full moon party, like in Thailand, like they do in Thailand. But this was
Hmm.
in this was in Tortola. This is
Oh, okay, okay.
and we partied all night long. Didn't get back to the hotel till like 8 in the morning, and production had been looking for us, and we're like pissed. And we went back to the boat, and they told Captain Lee about it. And when we picked up a charter that afternoon, and Captain Lee proceeded to have the deck crew, because we was all deck crew that snuck out and went and partied, and he had deck crew set up and take down the slide like 3 or 4 times. Like, we set up the slide, bring it in, move anchor, set it up again, take it in, move anchor, set it up. It was the longest day of my
Oh
life.
my
It was
God.
absolutely ridiculous. I was so beat up by the end of it. Yeah, it was awful. It was awful.
Classic Captain Lee.
Classic. I never complained though. I didn't. I did. I had one deckhand that dropped out, but and he was sequestered to his room. I don't want to name any names. I don't want to
Yeah,
embarrass
yeah.
him anymore. But he he
Oh
got he got
man.
destroyed. We were all destroyed, but Captain Lee was just. I remember him watching and just giggling to himself.
Classic.
Yeah,
Do you stay in touch with Captain Lee?
yeah, I do. I do. I talk to him occasionally. Not pretty good. I just saw him. I just went down to Florida in March and saw him and Connie, and we had lunch, dinner together. It was a
Oh,
good.
nice.
Yeah, we keep in touch.
That's great. What about anybody else that you stay in touch with? Like any of your buddies from the show?
I don't talk to too many people. Ben reached out to me the other day, but we didn't really catch up very much. But then I've been, chatting with Connie a little bit here and there. We had a really great time when we were down in Fort Lauderdale together, so we've been kind of keeping in touch, which has been
Nice.
great. And other than
Nice.
that, yeah, not too many people.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
tough when I live all the way up here in
yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah. So yeah, so different than below deck. So what's like a day in the life when you're on the tugboat?
Mm. Well, my day starts around 4:30 in the morning. Um, but it's all, it's very blue collar work. Big steel tugboat. We're docking ships, so it's definitely different. We're just get up 4:30 in the morning and get on the sticks and working with pilots, docking ships, pushing and pulling, and it's a contact sport. And
Mm.
it's just four guys running a tugboat. Just
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, just four guys. Yeah, my tugboat's about 86 feet long.
Yeah,
86 feet
yeah,
long.
they're pretty big though. Like
Pretty
that's
big, yeah. 5,000 horsepower though, so it's a lot. It's like an engine with a hull wrapped around it. It's
yeah.
teak to scrub or stainless steel to polish.
Yeah.
During the summers, we do like chip and paint
Hmm.
a lot, but it's and again, especially in these hot Baltimore summers, it was like 157 degrees on the deck the other day. I took the temp gun out and shot the deck, and it was 157
Oh
degrees on
my
the deck.
God.
So it gets hot, but we're very focused around safety a lot more than
Yeah.
yachting. It's a big part of it. So we just kind of just do our job and do our 2 weeks and get out of there.
So how many boats do you guys guide in every day or every week? Like,
Um, it ebbs and flows a bit, but I'd say on average, like during our 2 week hitch,
hmm
on average, it's been going up. It's been getting busier and busier. We're probably doing
hmm
around 70 to 80 jobs, 70, 75 jobs for 2 weeks now. But I have hit 100 jobs before in 2 weeks. It's
yeah.
busy, busy.
How
Uh,
long, like, so you know, when you're assigned to guide in one of the cargo ships, like, how long does that take for you to bring them, like, for your process? Like, how long is that? Like, what does that
like
look
a
like?
docking usually takes about an hour.
hmm
On average, takes about an hour for a docking. A sailing takes about a half hour
hmm
from start to finish, and then we also do shift boats. We'll shift the ship from one dock to another
hmm
dock, and that takes about an hour and a half because it's a sailing and a docking at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's usually how long it takes. But then we have run times. Our run times from like one job to the next, usually on average, I say is about a half hour also.
hmm
But that's different from every port. In Baltimore, where it's pretty condensed port. We got all the
Yeah.
docks right around each other, so it's shorter run times. I mean, there's other ports like up in Philly. I mean, you can have a 3 hour run time to get to a job that only takes half hour, 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
then 3 hours back. So it's it changes a lot, but yeah, we're busy. We're busy probably doing 6, 7 jobs a day around there.
And it's busier in the summer, like in the warmer months, or it's all year
No, all
kind of
year,
even?
all year round, all year round. I mean, Baltimore is the furthest west East Coast port,
hmm
so we do a lot of cars. We call them ro-ros, roll on, roll off. So car
hmm
equipment, I mean, farm equipment, cars,
hmm
anything with wheels. We do a lot of those. We do a lot of container ships,
hmm
ULCVs, ultra large container vessels.
hmm
Uh, we're we're a deep water port also, so we can bring those big ships in.
Yeah.
And Baltimore is a very efficient port. They're able to turn around ships really quickly. So ships love coming to Baltimore.
Gotcha. Cool. Um, yeah, so what's your next, like, what's your schedule? So you're on your 2 weeks off right now?
Yeah, on my 2 weeks off right now. I just spent a week out in Colorado with some friends, going to some concerts.
hmm
This week, I'm just kind of hanging out, taking care of some stuff around the house, and then I'm back on this upcoming Monday. So
Nice.
yeah, I do my 2 weeks, and then I'll do my 2 weeks on, and then who knows what's next? I don't have too many plans coming up.
Do you have any of those rhythm and sail? Like what's your next schedule for the sailing trips?
Well, we do have another. It's the next rhythm of sales trip is scheduled, but we got a little bit of a wait coming up. We only do about like one of those a year. There's a possibility that we're going to be doing more coming up. So kind of just, but waiting for that. We haven't announced when those dates are, but it's going to be very similar to this past year around beginning of May. Um, so really excited about that again happening. It's such a good time, but also I'm hoping to get some more kind of private charters happening.
hmm
I've been working with some people planning charters and doing some private chartering. If anybody ever wants to go sailing with me, they can always contact me, and I can go out and sail with them and crew it with some people that I trust and have a great time doing it. So I've been really enjoying kind of
Yeah.
doing my own private captaining and private crewing because it's bareboat chartering I think has been getting a lot more popular. But the thing is, a lot of people don't know how to sail, and so when they
Yeah.
go after private chartering, they have to get their own. They're kind of relying on the charter company to provide crew,
hmm
and that's I found that that's kind of sketchy, and a lot of that turns a lot of people off from chartering.
Well,
They're like,
people don't know where to start. Like, so it is, I feel like it is so popular. People want to, go sailing and either, because I feel like all the catamarans, like a lot, those are so popular. Like, I know
yeah,
there's a lot of sites where you can book those. But yeah,
yeah,
when you see these where it's literally just, the boat or add a captain, add a crew, but it's like, who
yeah.
are they?
Who are they?
You
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
Like,
So now I can plan out the whole trip for them, and then
yeah.
I'll crew it with myself if I can be there, but most likely myself because I want to go sailing also. And then also, a couple crew that'll make sure that you have the best food and best time possible.
Cool. So how should people reach out to you if they want to? do something like that.
You can also reach out to me always through my Instagram. I am going to be making kind of a more of a professional business Instagram also, but yeah,
Mhm.
you can always reach out to me through my Instagram. I'm pretty well up on that, so you can always contact me there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting today. This was so much fun. So much fun to talk below deck always and learn about, all the tugboat stuff is so cool too. I mean, that's like literally runs everything in America, like everything we get through those ports and everything. So, really cool.
great. Well, it's been a lot of fun talking about it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks so much for joining me here today on Voices of Luxury with JQ. I'm JQ Louise. We have new episodes every week, so be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me at JQ Louise on Instagram, TikTok, and all of the other social media platforms. I'm so excited to share my travel life with you and, of course, all of the great tips from my lovely guests. So, thanks so much.